The number one thing that I want to talk about today is a unique mindset shift that you have to be able to flip. A lot of clients, some in this very room that I've said this to, they go up and they just want to be this harmless little person. Hi, please like me. Please like me. Do you like me? What if I say this? Will you like me now? Well, will you please like me? Now, I'll tell these guys, I say, look, one thing that would benefit you would be if you were more of a cocky dick. Now, what does that mean, though? How would you define a cocky dick? How do they act?
Assertive.
Their voice is a little different, isn't it? Like, so, okay, what's the voice of the meek trying for a poor guy? It tends to go up. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Excuse me, how's your night?
Mickey Mouse.
What's going on? It like lilts up at the end. Right? Right to them, it's like, excuse me, good evening. So if you've ever seen pretty much any character portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, you know, Van Wilder, what was that other one? He was at the waiter waiting. Yeah, Deadpool. Like, he's just kind of got this air, but there's like there's not a mean-spiritedness to it. Cocky dick isn't enough. Cocky dick implies that it's some sort of asshole. Ultimately, what it means is he has self-esteem. That's really what it means. You need self-esteem. So what is self-esteem? What does that even mean? Well, it means two things. Number one, it means you deserve happiness. You say to yourself, I deserve to be happy. Say that.
I deserve to be happy.
I see some of you saying that. I don't believe you. More than happy, ecstatic, transcendent. A lot of people don't believe that, though. They can say these affirmations, and I don't think that they don't believe they deserve other people to like them. They don't believe they deserve, and there's a lot of reasons for this. But so that's number one. They believe that they're worthy of success, of love, of money, relationships that are beneficial and healthy. But also, they believe that they're capable. Right? So number one, you believe that you're worthy of happiness. And number two, you believe that you are capable of handling the challenges of life. So a lot of students will say to me, when you go up, Jeff, you seem like you have a rock solid belief in the things that you say. When you're not, it's never questioning. It's just like Jeff Allen, 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 Jeff Allen. Boom. Why? Because I believe that I can handle these challenges that come to me socially. And number two, I believe I'm worthy of the rewards. When you have a healthy self-esteem, it improves your many things. Number one, it improves your ability to deal with the uncertainty implicit in meeting people. If you don't have this cocky dick air about you, if you don't have high self-esteem, even when people react well to you, you will find ways to reject them. You'll be like, there's something wrong with them if they like me. There must be something wrong with them. Why would they like me? There's the famous Groucho Marx quote, I'd never be a member of a group that would have me as a member. This is very real and powerful stuff, and I see people actually self-sabotaging themselves all the time, every single weekend, because they don't believe that they're worthy of it. Likewise, they might also resent people who actually have high self-esteem. Like, that guy's an asshole, that guy's a dick, that guy's a douchebag. Or they don't want to be that person because the tall poppy gets cut. They know that other people harbor those resentments to those people as well. So why even try? I don't want that kind of negative attention on me. Crabs in a bucket, we've all heard that, right? Another reason to act meek, though, basically. So what does it look like? when you have high self-esteem. What are the physical manifestations? Well, first off, in the face and voice and body, you have an enthusiasm for life. You're enthusiastic to be there. You're happy to be there. You're very direct with people. You are honest about your intentions. You will own the intention. You have an ease of moving through space. A lot of people that I see, they do what I call the sauntering salmon in the club. They're like this. The movements don't have purpose. Where are you going? I don't know where they're going. They just kind of walk around and bump into things. When I'm walking through the club, I'm like, I'm striding with purpose from A to B. I'm going somewhere. I'm taking up enough space. The movements have there's a readiness to the physicality. Not overly puffed up like you're trying to appear impressive or alpha or strong, because that just causes more tension, but just a loose readiness to do whatever is needed. It's not held, it's just loose, it's ready, an ease of posture. The face, you're alert, you're engaged, you're interested, you're anticipating, your eyes are bright, you're ready, you've got a well-modulated voice that is able to make changes in process to sort of craft specific emotional effects. You're ready. I'd say overall you're just relaxed. Remember, tension is the enemy, but its removal is complicated and can cause changes in other areas of that system, of this system. It's almost like whack-a-mole. You know, you get rid of it in one place, it'll come up in the other. It's interesting because I can tell people that they have facial armoring, but that's not going to fix it. Why not? You spent multiple decades installing these behaviors that you feel have protected you for so long. You're not going to suddenly drop these decades of conditioning and become facially free because you're now intellectually aware that it would be beneficial for you to do so. You have to persist in it. But I think that ultimately, when you see somebody who's tense like that, it is a reflection of an internal battle that's happening inside of them. They're at war with themselves. There's an internal strife. They don't believe that they can handle it, and they don't believe that they deserve it. Low self-esteem people, they live more to avoid pain than to seek out challenges. Have you ever had this experience where you're standing maybe with your friends and you're at the bar, and you want to go talk to someone, and you say, who's going to do it? Yeah. Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to go? Are you going to go? With my friends, I'm like, get the fuck out of my way, I'm going. Like, it's get out of my way, I'm going, because we know the person who goes first is perceived as cooler because they had the balls to actually do it. And then you come up as the friend, you're like, and I'm here too. Me too. Here as well. Like, oh yeah, okay. All right, little guy. Anyone heard of Nathaniel Branden? Old self-help guy. He talked about these so-called 6 pillars of self-esteem. The first is living consciously. Most people go through life in a walking daze. They're just like, durr, 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 TV, durr, masturbation, durr, smoke weed, durr, get drunk, durr, do it again, durr. There's little time or effort devoted to self-reflection. Basically, it means you develop an awareness of where your blind spots are, an awareness of reality and where you're avoiding things. So again, I think that one of the biggest benefits of coming on our program is I'm looking for about 60 different things as I try to diagnose how to assist this person in unlocking their full expressive potential, let's just say. Some of those things are going to be things they're doing well. Other things are going to be things that they're not doing well and need improvement. But it's very interesting because, like I said, so much of this is, number one, becoming aware of the energy uses that you fear. And number two, realizing that you are the one that's responsible for creating this unpleasant exercise space that you've been creating for yourself. When you go out and you're judging yourself in process, you're like, that sucked. That was bad. We have an addictive need to judge and be judged by other people. It's conditioned. It's conditioning of society. When you realize that you are the one that has been responsible for creating that judgmental space inside of yourself, you can say, look, these inhibitions helped me at one point. They helped me. They protected me. I don't need this anymore. I don't need to hold on to these anymore. I can honor them. I can say, look, thank you for your service, like Marie Kondo. I can let it go, like a dove into the sky. Bye. Let it go. And now I can start making decisions of my own. Because that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about expanding behavioral choice, not dictating the choice, but expanding the capacity. So number one, you diagnose and pinpoint where the inhibitions lie. Number two, and through a variety of exercises you can do that. Number two, you start the process of letting them go and replacing their manifestations in your life. So now you can do whatever the hell you want. But it starts with awareness. And it starts with, I think that's particularly with the face, voice, and body, when we're talking about those outer projective modes, we take them so for granted because they're so much a part of our everyday lives that we don't really take much time to consider or investigate them. But if you realize, wow, if I were to become more expressive, I could have a lot more power in making people look here and keep looking here, that would solve so many of my problems. And I'll tell people, you ever heard of the Pareto principle? 80-20 rule? Like 20% of the actions get 80% of the results. It's little things like that. And very often students will be resistant. I'll say, stand in front of them and look them in the eye. They're like, stand in front. That's what I paid all this money for you to tell me to stand in front and look them in the eye? Yes. Yeah, it is. That will solve like 80% of your problems. Like, no way. Just do it. They do it. All of a sudden, they start getting dramatically better reactions. Holy shit, it was that easy the whole time? I wasted 30 years of my life, and I could have just done that. You ever had that where you just like, you did something, and and you're like, why was I doing that? I could have done that the whole time. So awareness, 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 awareness. Another thing, you got to be realistic about the demands that are going to be put upon you by the types of results you want. A lot of people, they want to have these rock star results, but they don't want to do the things that are necessary. I always like to say, if you want to get gangster results, you got to do gangster shit. Now that's a pithy little thing to say. It sounds badass. What does that really mean? It means if you want extraordinary results, you must do things that other people are not willing to do. If you want regular outcomes, do regular things. What is a regular outcome? Shit. A regular outcome for most people is fucking shit. It's not just okay, it's shit. Mediocrity. What will they do? They will go to, I don't know, a kickball league and maybe go on a date or something. Like, they have no agency in their relationships. They work for a boss. Yes, Mr. Henderson, for 45 years, who then fucking fires the rest. Like, it's not a good outcome. So be realistic about your results. And this is coming back to consciousness, getting a clear-eyed understanding of the demands that are going to be put upon you by the types of results you want. And that brings me to number 2, which is, and this is a different kind of acceptance, self-acceptance. Now, a lot of people ask me, they say, Jeff, how can I accept myself as I am now if I realize I'm trying to get better? How can I accept myself now as in this state where I'm not where I want to be? Well, that's kind of like asking, if you have a 5-year-old, is that 5-year-old somehow less because it can't do the things a 25-year-old can? Well, like less valid and worthy of love? You're like, fuck that kid, fuck them kids. Well, no, it's just in a different stage in development. So the best way to ensure that 5-year-old becomes a healthy, actualized 25-year-old is by providing it acceptance, love in the moment, and nurturing it as it attempts to move forward. So you got to own the facts of your being at this very moment. Another thing too, when you're about to go talk to someone, accept you feel the fear and go anyway. Like look, I'm scared. Oh well. It's fine. Accept you suck. Accept it. Just admit it. Just say it. Say I suck. Everyone say it. I suck. I suck. I suck. I suck. I suck. I suck. Well, whatever that's what goes on between consenting adults behind the Wendy's is none of my concern. What is the third? Oh yes, of course. Self-responsibility. Now, what does this mean? Well, quite frankly, it means that nobody is coming to fucking save you. You're solely responsible for your results. You, that's it. So just ask yourself, and this is the big thing, did I do what I was supposed to do? That's all you can do. Now, what does do what I'm supposed to do mean?
Practice fundamentals. Your agenda.
Yeah, fundamentals. So in other words, if you're trying to meet somebody, did you actually go talk to them? Did you own the intention? And understand too, nobody is entitled to do anything for you. Nobody's obligated to even fucking like you. You don't like everybody. Why should they like you? Some people just aren't going to like you. That's fine. Understanding that's fine. That was one of the biggest epiphanies for me. That was one of the biggest things that ever happened to me in terms of like really altering my ability to deal, I guess, with this. And it really improved my results as well, is coming to that understanding, I am for some, I'm not for others, that's fine. Really, really internalizing that. Nobody's obligated to like you. And just being really solution-oriented, not looking at problems. Number 4, assertiveness. Owning your intention. Honoring your wants, seeking their fulfillment. Actively seeking to make that happen. Not hiding. So many people are hiding to avoid confrontation or to just get along. I want to get along with everybody. If they say something that upsets me, I'll just nervous laughter. It's fine. When you're assertive, it means you're basically living authentically. Are you being real or are you being fake? It means you have boundaries. It means you have boundaries and you're not willing to let people cross those boundaries. For example, I don't get people fucking with me out at the bar too much. I don't get people asking me to buy them shit. I don't get people asking me to take their picture. I don't get that. I used to get those things all the time. Like dudes would come and attempt to mess with me or tool me because I seemed like meek. I seemed like I would permit that. Or they would ask me to buy me a drink, things like that. People don't ask that to me anymore. They know this ain't the one. This guy, he's not the one. Because I have like a rambunctious energy for one, and the demeanor just emanates out that I'm like assertive and I have boundaries. So next we have purpose. Now what's the difference between goals and purpose?
Emotional leverage.
Well, goals are small things like I want to make X amount of dollars, or I want to date this kind of person, or tonight I want to have a fivesome, which is not what it's cracked up to be.
It's like qualitative versus quantitative.
That's a good way to put it. Qualitative. So purpose, it's a higher principle of energy. So purpose guides you on a longer term, smaller part goals. Now, smaller part goals can be great to energize you in the moment, but I think an overly intense focus on small part goals can make you upset when you don't achieve them. So with purpose, like, what's my purpose? My purpose in life at this point is not having more romantic partners or making more money even necessarily. Those things are cool, those are great. My purpose at this point in my life is to come to a deeper understanding of the so-called human energy system as it functions in life and communication, and thereby come to a greater understanding of myself, and in doing so, learn how to communicate these things better to other people, to make them better social communicators as well. And in doing so, make the world a little bit better. So that's my purpose right now. So in that context, every interaction I have, whether people like it or they don't like it, it's good, it's bad, every student that I have, whether skilled, poorly skilled, is an opportunity for me to fulfill that larger purpose. So I think you need to be very clear about that. And you have to have, like I said, a plan. You need to execute. You have to have self-discipline. Be conscious of the goals. Monitor it after the fact. Remember, analysis and process is counterproductive. And last but not least, personal integrity. And this is what allows you to actually be able to say, you know what, I'm worthy of these things. I deserve it. Because you know you're living up to the standards that you have for yourself. You're congruent. Are you reliable? Are you trustworthy? Do you do what the fuck you say? Hypocrisy damages your sense of self. It also damages the value proposition. You need to understand what is the value proposition for other people that you're interacting with. Why would it be a good idea for them to associate with you? Are they going to benefit? If you don't believe that, you're like this little weasel, like a charlatan, and you know inside, maybe I'll trick them. Maybe I'll trick them into going with me. Maybe I'll trick them into doing this. You know damn well it's bullshit. Now, of course, the person who does that says, only I will know. Only I'll know that I'm lying. Only I'll know that I'm a creep and an idiot. Well, that suggests that the only opinion that matters is other people's. Because if they don't know, it doesn't matter, right? You can avoid other people, but you cannot avoid yourself. So if you have all of these elements and you practice these, so all of these are practices. These are not qualities, these are practices. If you practice all of these thoroughly, day in and day out, you will make that switch internally where you can just step and you're not trying to make them like you. If they like you or not, you don't care. Doesn't matter. You're happy either way. You're sharing, you're inviting them to join you in that middle space, and then you just move on. Now, paradoxically, that makes it work a lot better. All of a sudden, you start having chemistry with a lot more people. Because I'm not out there trying to find chemistry, like trying to find somebody who thinks I'm somewhat okay. Like, this guy's fine, he's harmless. I'm trying to find the person who thinks I'm awesome. But it's like exercise. If your self-esteem is low, it's going to be hard to do these things at first. If you have low fitness, exercise is hard at first. But over time, it gets easier. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Small improvements make a difference. They compound. But it requires you to be courageous. It requires you to take a lot of effort. But that's what life's about, right? A life without challenge, that's like a child's fantasy. Don't be a child. Now, a lot of people say, oh, childhood trauma has affected my self-esteem. That might be true. That may very well be true. You might have had teachers that were fucking dickheads, sarcastic. Your parents might have berated you for simple mistakes, and this negatively affected you. That may very well be true, but that doesn't make it any different right now. You have to address these things. You have to have a belief in your own potential. You might not believe it. You might not believe in me, but I believe it because I see it every week. I see people coming in, they make some simple adjustments, they reiterate those things until they become second nature, and then they can get there very, very quickly. I'm here to facilitate your awareness of your potential. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm doing on these programs. That's what I've been doing for 20 years. If you could have done it by yourself, you would have already. I see these guys out there all the time, derping around. I'm just there to facilitate your awareness of your potential. I want you to see that this is real. I want you to see this is real. It's not magic. It's not a fantasy. This isn't a fiction that this person has been propagating for 2 decades. This is like Tuesday for us. We can go out here, we can make these connections very, very quickly. Boom, boom, boom. To the uninitiated, it looks like magic, but it's not. It's very simple. It's just having some certain understandings about communication and then implementing those on a regular basis until you become consistent with it. I want these programs to be infused with a sense of creativity, a sense of play, a sense of thoughtfulness, a sense of respect, and perhaps most importantly, a sense of just hilarious and ridiculous nonsense, because that's actually what gets the result. And once you make that mental shift, you will never go back to viewing it as this elbows in the mud war for your soul and a balls-racking referendum on your value as a human being. You're just fucking around, you're just talking to people. You're talking to people, you're learning about yourself, you're learning about the style of communication that people respond well to. And once it becomes fun, it stops being confusing and frustrating, and you start becoming fascinated, and you start becoming even addicted, and you want to do it more and more.